This episode is brought to you by PS Kitchen, located at 246 West 48th Street, right in between Times Square and Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. PS Kitchen is dishing out sophisticated fare using fresh ingredients. I love their PS Burger. It tastes so good, and their fries are really good too. It's worth every dollar. PS has signature cocktails, a late-night menu, and a full event space upstairs, which I actually get to record some of these podcast episodes in. So check it out, ps-kitchen.com. They also serve brunch, which is as good as dinner, I imagine. I haven't had it yet, but I'm going to have to check it out real soon. And if all of this doesn't sound amazing enough already, they're open for lunch, brunch, and dinner until 11 p.m. Sunday to Wednesday and until 2 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's plant-based, and all profits go to charity. And the owners are really nice, too. So check them out, ps-kitchen.com.
Good morning, Vietnam!
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
To infinity and beyond!
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
It's classified.
You talking to me?
I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
I can't fly!
Expecto Patronum!
Entertainment X.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Gerry Mac sits down with me to share some crazy stories. He's an accomplished singer, actor, dancer. We start with Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat from Broadway, doing it all the way into the feature film that came out there in '99. We also talk about him producing his own opportunity in college. It's an incredible story, and that's all I'm going to say about that. His stories are fascinating, and I think there's a lot to be learned from each and every single one of them. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and keep on keeping on. We are back, and today with me is Gerry Mac.
Yes, indeed.
Gerry, thanks for doing this with me.
Oh, my pleasure.
In your busy schedule.
Yes. I'm in the middle of rehearsing a musical of musicals at the York Theater. That we have a gala performance on Monday, so I've been rehearsing, and there's a lot of music, and I'm losing my mind.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And you said it opens...
It's Monday.
Monday.
So we have 4 rehearsals, and then we do it on Monday.
That's
for
like
2 paying audiences, and the tickets are like $300 a ticket. So
That's an exaggeration.
No, I'm serious.
Really?
It's a gala benefit, and I stink right now. I'm horrible, but
This comes out after that, so we're good.
okay.
Yeah,
So
don't
that's
have
it.
any
All
idea.
right.
Now, I'm going to start with, and don't hate me for this, Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah.
Because I have a personal invested interest in it. It was my first show I ever did. Twice I did it consecutively as like one of the kids in the show.
Yeah.
And I watched that movie a lot of repeat. Like
Yeah.
my family, that was like our foray into
Oh my God.
theater. And I'll never forget you
Oh my God.
in that. Never forget it. And I watched it the other night, and I didn't even realize they had you in like you were doing every.
I'm in
it was
every.
like
I'm in every number.
Yeah.
I'm in every number, even like Potiphar and all that stuff.
That was my favorite, handing him the phone.
Jeez, it's bananas. And
I love that.
In Go 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 Joseph, I'm wearing like a white lattice work jumpsuit and with a cod piece. And I don't understand why, really, because it's not really for children, but there's literally a close up on it. They just bang, Go 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 Joseph, and it's my cod piece, which I find odd for children, but
It's a very stylized production.
yes, indeed.
But I really liked it. It's so funny when you go back and watch things from like the 90s.
Right.
It's like, oh, I remember it differently.
Yeah.
It's great, but I remember it differently. And you did that. You were in the stage production, and then you were one of the few. If
Yeah.
not
I was this Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, or is he Lord? I think he's a Lord. Lord Webber. He picked 3 Americans to go over to London to do it because I was very fortunate. So it was me, Jeff Blumenkrantz, and Bob Torty. So I did it on Broadway at the Minskoff for like 6 months, and then I did it in LA at the Pantages for like a year, and then I had a little hiatus because I went to San Francisco, and then they called me to do it in London to do that.
So did you film in London?
We filmed in London.
Why?
We filmed at Pinewood Studios.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I did on Benjamin Calypso. I taped that number on the a 007 set. You know, that's where 007.
Oh my God.
So I was so jazzed. It was amazing. It was really amazing.
How long was the whole process?
2.5 months. I was staying at Earl's Court, and I had a driver. It was bananas. It was one of those things that's like, oh, this is what it must feel like to be a star. Yeah. and that, you know, for 2.5 months, it was great. And, you know, they told us not to tell the English actors how much we were making, because that's why they filmed it over there, because it was cheaper. Because they were going to do it here in lovely Los Angeles, but it was too expensive. So they said, okay, never mind, we're just going to do it in London, and we want just, you know, everybody else in the cast hated me.
Why?
Because I got to do it. In the American cast.
Yeah, they were like, oh my goodness.
It's because they asked us first to do it in LA, so they asked everybody, and then they took it back. So I got a call, and I was like, you guys, I just got a call about going to London, and it was like everyone was silent with me. I was like, okay, never mind.
It's not happening. See you later.
It's not happening. I was kidding. I'm not going to London to do it.
It's a joke. It's a joke. So when did you begin? When did you decide to do theater? Was this something that was like a no-brainer for you, or did you stumble upon it?
I stumbled upon it. I remember seeing Ben Vereen in that Pippin commercial. I was living in East Orange, New Jersey, and I remember like having like a frozen TV dinner on that tray, you know, those trays. And then I was watching TV, and then all of a sudden Ben Vereen comes on. It's like, this is 30 seconds of Pippin, and I just saw him do the Manson Trio, dun, 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 and I was sold.
How old were you?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like elementary school?
Yeah.
Or was younger?
Yeah, young.
Okay.
Because my mother had like 17 jobs because she's a West Indian woman, so she just put us with the dinner in front of the TV, and that's all I did. So I found that, and I was like, I'm gonna do that the rest of my life.
Oh my goodness!
And then I got to understudy Ben in Chicago, in Vegas. It was with Cheetah, another one of my idols, and it was Ben Vereen, and I got to understudy him and tell him the whole story. He was like, just blown away. He was such a sweet and gracious man.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Did you pursue it actively from that moment on? Were you like, where's the community theater? What am I going to do? Let me get to the city? Or was it kind of like...
It's Jersey, and it's Catholic school, so it's like, it was just kind of hard to find it.
That's where I did Joseph.
Oh, really?
Not Jersey, but Long Island Catholic school.
Long Island. But I had a nun, Sister Miriam, who turned me on to public speaking. Oh, because she saw, she saw that I was just, probably just like a hyperactive kid. She's like, this will shut you up. So I did like public speaking. It's called forensics. I don't know if anybody knows. Forensics. It's called forensic, and it's not the study of a dead body. It's called forensic, and you go compete with other schools, and you do readings, and you do poetry, and it's really amazing. And all of a sudden, I kept winning all these awards.
I was going to say, did you kick ass?
Oh my God, I was kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah. So
I think that was really the intro to theater.
Okay.
And then I went to high school and I did Hello Dolly. My junior year, and I played the court clerk in the pivotal role of the court clerk. But I decided to make him drunk, and the audience went bananas. And so that was the beginning of my comedy life. I don't know why I decided. The director was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's funny if he's drunk." And she's like, "Why?" I said, "You watch." And the audience went crazy.
They lost it.
And I had one line. I missed a few words back there, Mr. Hackle, right after "It Only." Between those verses of, "It only." So I was like, yeah, I miss it, just drunk. Just the
Just a loose cannon.
Just crazy. ADD.
That's hilarious. And was it like, I hate to use the word smooth sailing, but did it just kind of, things just progress from there? You just, another show, another show.
I went to Montclair State.
Yeah.
I went there for 4 years, and that was just, it was harder to get a Broadway show than to get a show in college.
Why do you say that?
The theater was not small-minded, but they would. And first of all, you couldn't be a freshman and be in the shows.
Oh, okay.
Which whatever their policy is, but it didn't really work for me. So I didn't I auditioned for all the shows, and I got like The Servant, and secondary part. So I went to it's called Players. It's like a student-run organization. I decided to become the president of the Players organization and produce and get a director and star in Pippin. So I did that, and I went.
This was in college.
This is in college because they wouldn't give me a part. So Montclair State, thank you so much though, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know how to just find out how to make it myself. So I did that myself. I got the show up. I got the Irene Ryan competition. I got the judges from the Irene Ryan to come see Pippin, and they nominated me for Best Actor. And then I won the National Irene Ryan Award. And then when I came back to Montclair State after winning the national award, it was like it's the whole nation. Yeah. And I was, I was the best actor, the winner. Yeah. And when I came back to Montclair, they're like, "Oh yeah, we always knew you were great and you'd make it." I was like, "Oh yeah, really? That's why did I have to produce this thing myself? I did it myself. No one, not one person from the faculty helped me. Not one."
Where did you begin?
How did I?
With money? You needed money to do
because the Players is part of the student union.
So they had it.
So they had the money. You just have to go. I'm going to use $5,000 for the director. I'm going to use this for lighting. So we have this
break
budget.
It down.
So I broke it down. I was like, I did everything. I was very Barbra Streisand.
I love this.
Isn't that amazing?
I love this. I have so many questions about it. And then you're like, I'm putting myself in it.
Well, that's why I did it.
Well, of course. Well,
because I was like, okay, how am I going to get to do something? Because they were doing, like the school was doing some Ernest in Love, the musical of, and I was like, I was for the butler. Yeah. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. So I saw that they were looking, Players was looking for a president. There were going to be elections. I'm like, God, I can't believe I did this. And then I'm loving this. I just said, all right, I'll run and win and do Pippin. It was just crazy.
How did you get the awards committee to show up?
I did that too. I said, we're doing the show and these are the dates, and please send a representative so we can nominate people from the show. And when I say people, I mean me.
I mean myself.
I mean that's what I'm going to. And then I had no idea I was going to win the whole thing though. But that was just amazing. Yeah, we went to Washington D.C. and it's a lot of people there, and it's a lot of. Again, by myself, there's no one from Montclair, no faculty member went with me because it was my little brainchild. So I'm in Washington D.C. with my partner, and we do a scene from Of Mice and Men. I play Lenny, and then he leaves. I roll over and I come up and I go, "Join us, leave your field of flower." So all the people in the competition are like serious Shakespeare and all this stuff, and they're looking at me like, "What the hell is he doing?" Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm winning. That's what I'm doing. And then I won something at Shenandoah too, to go to be in a playwright thing, to be one of the actors in this new playwright thing. So I won everything.
Jesus,
I won everything.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, many questions. When you got back to Montclair, was it like the rest was cake? They're like, "Oh yeah, we'll put you in this, you be in that," and then it was still what it was?
My senior year, so I was like, I was on my way out, and I didn't care. They went to Star Ledger. Star Ledger did a whole thing on Weekend section on me. I'm on the cover of this magazine, and they interviewed some of this. Faculty, and they're like, "Oh, we always knew he had it in him. He's like Liza Minnelli. He can do everything." And I'm like, that is a crock up. Because they never gave me a break. So that was like the end of my senior year, and then I moved to New York that September of 1984, and I got my equity card the first week that I moved here.
The first week?
First week.
Where?
Theater Works.
Theater Works. Yes, Theater Works. Okay. Wow.
Doing Play to Win. playing Satchel Paige in the Jackie Robinson musical. Yeah, traveling around in a van.
They still do that.
They still do it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
Still, get your equity card doing that.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. I just I came in, I got a backstage and I saw Theater Works, I saw Satchel Paige. I went in, I was like, I'm like, no, the guy, Sheldon Harnick. Is that Sheldon Harnick? It's one of the Harnicks. It's not the one that did Fiddler on the Roof. It's his brother. He saw Pippin. Isn't this crazy? He happened to see Pippin in Montclair. So when I walked into this audition, he was like, were you the leading player in Pippin? I'm like, yes. How the hell do you know that? He's like, I knew. My friend Bob Rizzo, director, is a friend of mine. And he asked me to come out and see it, and I saw it. And you're here, and I think you're amazing, and you got the job.
Oh my God!
It was bananas.
Talk about creating opportunity,
right?
I mean, does that come from like your parents or like family members? Did you have someone that was like, you got to go take for yourself? Like, did you ever hear that?
Absolutely not.
You just did it.
Absolutely not. Because my parents, my father was a shipping supervisor and my mother was a nurse. So they looked at me like, where did you come from? You know, my sister works for Merck. No one in my family does theater at all. So they were like, they thought literally I was the milkman's son. But I didn't have to it's always been hard though, I think. You know, to me it's like theater is an active thing. You can't be passive if you want to do it. You have to be active. You have to go for it and get your own. And like I just started doing like teaching classes, and I thought everyone else is making money. So every Tom, Dick, and Harry is making money, and at least I have experience. Yeah. I've been doing this since literally 1984. When I moved here, I've never had to have like a real job.
That's incredible.
Which is. Yes, which sometimes I feel I should have. It's that line, champagne and caviar, then it's pretzels and beer. I've had them all, my dear. That's yeah.
Was there ever a point where up to now, where you kind of like, where you didn't know the answers on this path of theater? And was there anything that kept you sane, level-headed, balanced as you were going through this, like, unknowns? 'Cause they happen a lot.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this business.
Yeah.
And I think, I've had a lot of bumps in the road, and I think I usually just go into my room, whatever, where I'm staying, and have I call it fear and self-loathing, like a day of it usually, or sometimes it's a week. I had this Jersey Boys debacle. It was one of the biggest things that like put me into just a depression.
Yeah,
a massive depression.
Oh, you're talking about being in it.
Being in it, yeah.
Okay.
It was just a miscommunication, I guess. I auditioned for the Des McAnuff was doing The Wiz. He was doing The Wiz in San Diego. So I was up for The Lion, and Titus Burgess was doing Jersey Buzz on Broadway. So I mean, the Dodgers are producing. I'm like, everybody. Tara Rubin was casting, and I auditioned for The Lion, and they loved everything supposedly. And then I came back for the call back, and everyone's like, "That's great." Then I came back in the room. It's like 17 people behind the table, and they're like, "That's fantastic. That's fantastic." Then they wanted to give The Lion to Titus. So they called me and said, well, we have a consolation prize for you. I'm like, oh, okay, what's that? You replaced Titus on Broadway. I was like, that's a good consolation prize to me. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Keep talking.
Yeah, so tell me more. So I was doing a show at where was it? At the Cape Playhouse. I was doing Guys and Dolls at the Cape. So they had called me and they said, the stage manager said, okay, you're in the middle of the show, but we want you to have your put-in on this date. And I was like, okay. He said, do you mind flying? We'll fly you from the Cape to New York. You'll have your put in with Holly Ann Ruggiero, who's the resident director. And then you'll fly you back so you can do the show. And I was like, oh, fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
I went to the theater. You know, my friends were in the theater like, are we going to be dressing your mates? And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then Ron Melrose, the musical director, who was the musical director of The Wiz too. So I sang like everything. I'd be a line. I sang everything before. He said, I'm going to be in the studio at Ripley Greer. Just come in because we just have to hear. We just never, investigated that falsetto part of your voice. I'm like, oh, okay. So I come from her. I'm on lunch break. And he's playing the Sherry thing. Yeah. And I'm going, he sings this? He's like, he sweetens Frankie's voice off stage.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm in the Ripley Greer studio. Sergio Trujillo and Kelly Devine are doing something in the corner. And I just start sweating because now I can't. I mean, I don't have that falsetto. And he's like, calm down. You're getting nervous and you're being sharp. You're getting sharp. And I'm like, I don't even know. I can't even believe I'm even hitting any of these notes. And he's like, oh, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. By the time I got out downstairs, I went in the elevator. And by the time I got to the taxi to go back to rehearsal, my agent called and said, you lost the job. Oh, this is a true story. And then no one called. Everyone was, when everything was going right, Lauren Mitchell was calling from the Tara Rubin. Everyone was just calling, saying fantastic, Holly. Everyone was like, Des McIntyre. I saw him at a benefit. Yeah, I saw him at a benefit. And he was like, he literally said to me, he's like, because I was just taking time to make a decision to do it. He was like, what the hell do I have to do to get you to be in my Broadway show? And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm just taking my time. And he was like, all right, fine. So none of them called. Sergio, Kelly, silence of the lambs, just nothing. So I went to Cape and did Guys and Dolls, and I was bad, and I was misbehaving and drinking, and when I wasn't, I was sleeping because I was just so depressed.
Damn.
I was I didn't even know the depths of that depression.
Yeah.
It ruined me for a long time, for like maybe a year. Damn. Because you get gun shy.
Yeah.
And the thing about this business is when they love you, they love you. When they don't, it is goose eggs. You can't hear a sound from anybody. That was the part that killed me. Because no one, first of all, no, I didn't audition for Jersey Boys. I just got, I did the audition for The Wiz.
Right.
So everything was just like, okay, this just happened. And that never happened to me before, losing a job that way. It never happened to me before.
That's like a freak story.
That was crazy.
You can't make it up.
I mean,
you can't make something like that up. That's insane.
It's insane.
Well, how did you get out of the depression? Was it time?
Yeah, time. And I just kept working, and yeah, it was time. It was horrible. It was really horrible.
Life moves on.
Yeah, and then I got a job teaching at this school in Indiana, which was horrible. It was a horrible idea because now I'm out, no friends. I'm in Indiana, and I'm just miserable and day drinking, and oh my God, it was just horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get out of that.
Is there any advice you'd give someone on rejection in this industry or in life?
Yeah, it's just so, I don't think you can prepare for it. I just think
true. You cannot prepare for it.
You cannot prepare for it, because it's like a punch in the stomach. You're like walking down the street, literally someone just punches you in the gut, and you're like, oh,
and then takes everything.
And then takes and what do we do now? We just have to heal.
Yeah,
you have to heal and get better, and there's a lot of prayer and a lot of therapy. Therapy is good. I recommend therapy to everyone in show business.
Just to talk about your feelings.
Well, just to talk about your feelings to someone else who's like, who's like third party, not your friend. Yeah,
it helps when it's not your friend.
I should be paid for the amount of time I've been listening to my friends. But I love them. I love them.
Let them know.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Rejection's tough.
Yeah.
There was another question I had there, and it slips my mind, but it'll come back. Okay, so life continues on, and you end up doing some TV and film eventually.
Yeah, because I moved to L.A. to do Joseph at the Pantages with Michael Damian, and then while I was there, I was like, I don't know why am I going back to New York? I don't have to go back to New York.
Let me try this LA thing.
Let me just try this LA thing. So I did, and I ended up. I don't know how to put it. I ended up being like a drag performer on TV. I was doing Forbidden Hollywood, which is Forbidden Broadway, but with movies.
Okay.
So all the casting directors came and saw it, and in the show, I play Whoopi Goldberg, and I do Mammy from Gone with the Wind. So I guess that's how it started, because I went in for the first thing, and I walk into this audition for Charlie Rose, I think was the name of it. Charlie Rose, I think that's the name of it, with Mark Harmon. Okay. It didn't last long, but I walked in and did the scene, and in the waiting room is like they're like drag queens in drag, and I'm in like a shirt and pants, and I'm going, oh my God, what the hell am I doing here? And I got it. And then another casting director saw it, and then I got this, The Pretender, and then I did another drag queen thing, and I got to do like a few, I did a lot of episodic things too, but that was the biggest parts. I was the guest lead, as drag queen, so I had to get out. I had to get out of LA.
Is it because it was starting to go in a direction that you were like,
and
I'm good?
There was one thing that my agent called me, and I didn't even audition for it. They said, "Well, we're just putting you on a veil. We're seeing if you're available, because it's between you and RuPaul, and he might have some time. He must have some conflicts." And I was like, "I'm not available. I'm not doing that. I'm not." First of all, I'm 6'1" and big. I don't want to be a drag queen. I never wanted to be a drag queen, and and I'm up with RuPaul in the same sentence. I'm like, I was with this agent, Peter Strain, and he called me. I was like, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
And I moved back to New York.
And then, because there's other stuff. You've been a guest on a lot of the major network stuff, just regular. And that kind of just trickles in. Yeah, it was,
because it's you move to LA, and they said you have to have tape, and I was like, I've done 5 Broadway shows. That's not enough tape for you. So there was no tape, so I just had to start just doing my first one was The Nanny, and I had one line. I was the guy in the hospital. Oh, I was in the shaving when Nanny shaves him. It's a huge episode. I don't know why it's huge, but
I used to love that show.
But I come in with my big line, and I have some liver in a cooler, in a thermos, and I say to Fran, "Who gets the liver?" This is my big joke, ladies and gentlemen. And that's my first line on national TV. Uphill from there. But then I love doing TV, and I love doing then I did some films, and then I had a film thing. It was called The Kiss with this director. The director was great. The leading lady had an acting coach. Oh my God, this is just a horrible story. So we're on set, and I'm doing my stuff, and he starts to come over to me like, I think that performance is too big, and for his student. So then she'd have to change things. She'd have to be bigger, and he wanted her to be small. I was like, fuck you. They hired me to do it, and the director didn't say anything. And you're an acting coach.
Who's giving you notes?
He's giving me notes because his student was the lead of the movie. I wouldn't say any names, but if you watch The Kiss, you'll see that I'm not in much of it because they edited me out. I was one of those things where you're on the set, and he, after every take, he's like coming over to me. I was like, if you don't leave me alone, I will actually punch you in the throat. I'm serious though. Because, you're trying to do your work.
Yeah.
And, if the director's not coming over to me and saying it's too big or whatever the deal is, then I'm not listening to the acting coach who I didn't pay for.
I mean, yeah, you have to have a safe space to do your work.
Oh, God,
when you
that
get
was
that shit all the time. So you have such a mild manner way about you. It just seems like it appears as though a lot of stuff just rolls off your shoulders. I mean, like, you're telling me these stories that are like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It can really mess you up for a minute. But like,
I get cranky a lot. I get cranky, but it just doesn't make sense to be cranky.
Why?
Well, just because it's like it's going to happen. Show business is going to happen. This is going to happen in life.
Yeah.
In this life. So you just have to just take a big old breath and go, all right.
Do you have any favorite coincidences, or like life happening for you stories?
I don't think. I've been so fortunate and lucky, so I just believe that's just good behavior.
Yeah.
You know? Because I just, now, at 55, I sometimes have to audition, and sometimes I just get offer only. So, that's just good behavior, and just, being around long enough that they just trust you. People just trust you and just say, all right. When I go in and audition, that's when I don't get it. That's my favorite thing.
That seems to be the...
But when the offer only, I come in, I'm like, yes.
When did you realize that it was like about the relationships? Because it's such a small community, and life is a lot about like relationships. And like, be careful what you say, who you talk to, how you talk about it.
I remember being in LA and auditioning for TV stuff, and there was this girl. I don't know what studio it was, but there was one girl, and she would always like be nice. She was at the front desk. She was like, "Oh, it's good to see you," and I was like, "I know, I'm gonna say her name's Kathy." So I was like, "Hi, Kathy." Every time I went in, and sometimes I got it, sometimes I didn't. But she was always so sweet. I'm like, "Oh, Kathy, it's so good to see you. You make me so calm when I see you." She's like, "Oh, it's good to see you." Blah blah blah. Cut to 6 months later, I'm at a callback for a TV show. And I walk in for producer's session, and who's behind the table? Who's like, she's like one of the producers, is Kathy. I was like, oh my God, because you never know. That person in the front that's signing you in 6 months down the road is going to be producing, or could be producing, or could be directing.
Yeah.
You just never know. You never know. I say to, when I teach class, I said, be nice to every single person you meet along the way. Because that person someday might be Casey Nicola. Or, whoever it is.
Anyone.
You never know. You never know.
You really don't.
I walked in, I saw her, I was like, then try to just focus and be like, oh, okay, don't.
Casey, the receptionist. Or the producer.
Go, oh, hi, receptionist. Hi. Yeah. Crazy. But I think also only in LA too.
Literally only in LA. How does directing and choreographing come into play? Was that always in the back of your mind?
I was the dance captain of Once on This Island, the original company. I have to say that now since there's a revival.
Yes.
I'm so old, dear God. But I was the dance captain, and then Graziella Danielle, who was the director and choreographer, said to me, I remember saying, you should do this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I remember because it was like, she came, I'm like, I was on my dressing room, was like on the 3rd floor. So I remember because the scene took place in the mirror. Like I was like Dreamgirls, she knocked on the door. I was like, come in. And then I was getting ready. So I'm looking at her and talking. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I just remember, because it was just such a huge, like, cathartic moment. But I remember never turning around and like looking at her eye. Like I was looking at her at the mirror, and she's like, you should do it. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? She's like, do this. You should direct and choreograph because you have it. You have that thing that you need. And I'm looking, I'm like, in the mirror still like, you're crazy. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. I want to perform. And then I just listened.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
And that just came again. Relationships. You do one thing, someone sees it, another person sees something, and
then I got all these productions of Once on This Island because Grazi and Steve and Lynn said the only person who knows the show is me.
Yeah.
So I did one right after the other, which was amazing. I was the Bayek Lee of Once on This Island. Just doing it everywhere. I'm the go-to. So when the revival came, I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm not the go-to anymore, but it's all good. Let them have it.
Yeah.
Let them have it. It's good.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's completely different. And
Some live animals.
Live animal. When I went, that's what made me safe. When I walked in, I was like, oh, there's a goat in a diaper. I'm okay. This is fine. I'm not worried anymore. It was,
what does directing and choreographing kind of teach you about leadership?
Oh, the director is everything. That the people, I don't know. Like to me, 90% is casting the show, and then the other 10% is just leading that ship. You have to be a therapist with the actors. You have to be with the designers. You have to be clear and hardcore with them and the costume design. Just like every person in the wheel, you have to move along and help grow.
Yeah.
So it's exhausting, and everyone wants to ask you a question. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I just right now, can I just have like a half hour without any questions? I just need a half hour, and then I come back, because then you go before you go to rehearsal. It's like 10 emails about what should we do? The sound? Should we do a lot? The handhelds? Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, I did that one, and then some costumes. Like these are just some sketches. What do you think? I'm like, oh, okay. And this is before rehearsal. I'm like, I don't like that one. I like that one. I like the second one. I was like, next email. And it's the line design. And you're like, oh, okay. And that's why I don't know how, like Jerry Mitchell and Casey, and they have like 5 and 6 shows. And it's like, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I don't know how they do it, because there was one time I had like 2 going at the same time. Yeah, I was doing at Gateway. I was doing Ain't Misbehaving and Priscilla Queen of the Desert, and I was just like, that's all. And then you get show reports of the of the performance at night. So it's like it's fascinating to me how they do it.
Do you have a way to keep your mind, like clear your mind at the end of the day from all that? Is there anything you
Tequila.
do? Tequila does it.
Patron
particularly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just have to let it go. Mm-hmm. And because that's why sometimes people call. People always go, and you never pick up the phone. It's like, because every time I see something like that, it's just like, it's work to me.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten the things like, so when I see it's like, oh my God, he's calling, and I haven't seen him have a conference call at this time. So the only way to do it, to get rid of it, is just really chill out.
Yeah.
Because when you go to dinner, with people, you're usually talking about the show. So I just need downtime by myself to just like literally come home and just like, just go boop.
I had watched an interview with you. It was very short, and it was about Legally Blonde when you were working on that, and how you were saying that you'll never make anyone look bad on stage.
Yeah.
With choreography, with direction.
Yeah.
And I loved hearing that, because I was like, because you obviously want the show to look good, but also for different, levels of talent. Some people do certain things a certain way, some people do things another way, and meshing that all together and picking out what people need.
That's why I'm teaching this class. It's called for singers who move well. It's called Move Wellers class. Because I just want, there's so, you see people at auditions, they come in, they sing, they're fantastic, and then they get to the dance call and they're like, same arm, same leg, and they, I'm going, I don't understand how you can be so brilliant when you sing a song and you're not connected to your body. It's thing. It's just in your brain.
It's mental block.
It's a mental block. It's like, oh my God, I'm dancing. It's like I have a mental block about like singing harmony for some reason. Still, at 55, it's like I don't know why it's when it happened or how it happened.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't. Like maybe couldn't. I don't know, when I was younger, couldn't hear it or something. But it's still. I still so I'm like, I'm always rehearsing the part. People are like, you have it. I don't know why you're stressing out. I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those mental blocks.
Did you ever have a mental block with the movement?
No.
Or you're just good at that, and you're like, I can help people break through this.
Yeah, I'm just like, when I see, and I can see, when sometimes it's like too much, and you see that it's like it's not storytelling.
Yeah.
I'm just, I learned. I think I learned that from Graziella, because it's not, it's like I don't need some fan kicks and big things and unison choreography. I find that on Broadway right now, there's a lot of unison choreography, and going to school and learning from choreographers, you do unison where after you set things up. I set this thing up, I set this movement up, I set this movement up, I set this movement up, and then when we're all clear and we're like, we get together, that's when unison is supposed to happen. That's what, like a textbook thing of unison.
Yeah.
But now it's like, if you see everything in unison, it's boring to me, because we're all agreed then. There's no tension, there's no conflict, there's no story, because we're all agreed. We're all doing the same thing.
Right.
There's 20 characters on stage. We can't all agree for the whole time. Mm-hmm. I have a movement, and then you have a movement. It's like, oh, okay, and then maybe I like that, and maybe I add another thing to it. But at the end, when we come to an agreement, is when we do unison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're directing and choreographing, is there a lot of prep work you do?
Yes.
Does it depend on the show?
Yes, I do. I learned my lesson about pre-pro. I have to do pre-pro.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a incident with a dear friend and a mentor of mine, Tony Stevens, who passed away unfortunately. We were doing Dreamgirls, the national tour of Dreamgirls, and I was assisting him. He's directing choreography. I was assisting him, and I was like, so, when do you want me to come? You want me to, we're going to do some pre-pro? He's like, no, we'll just wing it. When we get there, the first day of rehearsal, like it's a Monday at 10 o'clock. I'm like, okay, all right. You're
Monday.
You're in charge. I'm here to help you. I get there, 10 o'clock on Monday. The stage manager comes to me. He's like, so what do you want to do the first day? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you want to do? He's like, Tony fell and hurt himself, and you're the only one here. And what do you want to do for this next 8 hours of rehearsal? I went into a tailspin, because I called him, and he was like, oh, sorry, I was in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. He was like jumping a fence and hurt his knee, and he's on crutches and all that stuff. So he was like, okay, go. Someone has a tape of when I did it somewhere. And this is a while ago, so it's like a VHS.
What are those? I'm just kidding.
I'll kill you. So I go to, so I said to the stage manager, I'm like, okay, today we're learning music, kids, all day long. We're learning music, and tomorrow we'll start with some steps. So I went and watched that VHS of the production that he did at Elmsford, and I just did the choreography, and I taught the choreography for like 2 days before he got back, which was crazy.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn it backwards and then teach it. You know what I mean? It was like,
because you're watching.
Watch it. So I was like, so that was my lesson about pre-pro.
Wow.
So now I have my assistant, my associate Jackie Miller. I call her my daughter, and we go in the room and we play and do it and we tape it. Because we usually
from the front, do you or from the back?
I tape it from the front, because once I have it, and it came out of my brain.
Yeah,
it's easier. But I have to do pre-pro, because usually I have 10 days, 12 days if I'm lucky, to put up a show. You know, I do Chicago, the whole of Chicago with all that geography. I do it in 7 days. I can do it in 7 days with Jackie.
Oh Lord.
It is the factory. You just finish a
Yeah.
number and you go next, and you just move on. You're like, get that person in here right now. We're doing Cell Block Tango. All right, hour and a half Cell Block Tango. Next, what's next? Mama Morton, get her Mama Morton in here. I'm not playing. It's literally a factory.
Do you? I mean, you do a lot of musicals. Have you done plays? Do you want to do more plays, or you
I want to
like?
do more plays. I've only done like 2 plays, and I want to do more plays.
Yeah.
I want to do more plays, and I want to be in more plays too, because I went to school to be an actor, and because they didn't do musicals in Montclair, except when I'm in charge. So I wanted, I did I have a fellow in me, and I'm kind of that stuff.
Have you thought about producing again?
No, not yet. No,
Okay.
not yet. I did. Yeah, no, not yet. I'm
Not
gonna
yet.
let it.
We're gonna
no,
leave that
I
right there.
Yeah, let that go. Yeah.
Okay. I had also seen, because I did a little homework, and as you can tell, I guess, and you had done some choreographing for like network TV as well.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that come about? What would that what did that entail?
Oh my God. Okay.
Like standout stories. Start from the beginning.
I was in LA and I did those. Oh my God, I did the Golden Girls. They're called the Golden Palace. So I got to work with those ladies, which was a trip and a half because they didn't like each other.
Oh no.
So, and no one tells you.
It's better.
No one tells you on the set. They're like, and I think my agent just got me the job. I don't know how I got that job. So because it was the teaser for the whole for the new season. So I did like 4 shows. So it's like, and it was like Calypso. Oh, that's how I got it, because it was someone saw the Once in the Silent thing, and knew that I was the dance captain. So I did all of them. Major Dad, and I had this girl, the daughter dance around him. So it was a day. It was just a long day of egos, just egos, and But then I did the Rosie show, because my friend was one of the producers. So I got to do the last episode. I choreographed the last episode. She started on up by Duffy Square, on a cherry picker up in the sky, and then the cameras went down the street to find Sutton Foster and the girls from Millie tapping down the street. It was fantastic. And then we went from the camera just.
I literally remember this.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we went, go to Schubert Alley, and then there's all the people in Chicago. Rosie, dear. And then it goes into Be Our Guest Row. It goes into the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And then we went down, literally up to 42nd Street to the Come At Me, those dancing feet. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing.
How much time did you have to get it together?
That was a lot of pre-pro.
There was.
That was a lot of pre-pro, and especially with the cameramen too.
You have to choreograph them.
You have to choreograph. They're like, oh, we're never gonna get the shot. I'm like, just go fast. Because I wanted a ripple.
Just go
I'm
fast.
just bossy. Just go fast. I wanted ripples. One person has and every person has 1 count. And he's like, I don't think we're gonna get it. I just go fast. Just go down the thing fast. It's like tuk 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 tuk.
Got it.
Got it. It was fantastic. And then we did the producers, and I had those those 4 leggy girls, and Brad Oscar. Just fantastic. And then we got into the studio, and then Rosie had all the Broadway people, and John Lithgow and Vanessa Williams and Chad Kimball at the time was the cow in Into the Woods.
Chad Kimball.
Even the cow was there. So I did that, and then Rosie did a dance break. And she even goes on camera, she's like, oh no, a dance break. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the help and the support. I love you. It was great. But the thing was, they called me, the producers. There's always a story. God, the producers called me and said, "It's the last show, and we want to have no credits. We want Rosie to be, I think she was on her lawn or in the front of the lawn, and Tom Cruise, because she had a crush on Tom Cruise, that was the joke for the whole show, was going to pour her a glass of lemonade, and then the screen is just going to go black and no credits. I was devastated. You do all that work and you want people to know who did it. And then that was no. And I think SAG. They paid me more money for something like that
because there was no.
Yeah.
Well, that's considered SAG. Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy because you get that phone call from the producer like, oh, because what you can do?
Yeah,
say no. You have to we're not really asking you. We're telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did the stuff on CBS follow close after?
CBS was first, and then
that was first,
and then Rosie came after. Yeah.
Wow.
I love doing TV though.
Yeah.
I love doing that TV. And
what about it?
And when they have great cameras, then you can really play.
That's what marveled me about Jesus Christ Superstar the other night. The camera choreography was some of the strongest I think in any live.
It was great.
Of those live productions.
It was great. The camera work was fantastic.
Yeah. And that's like something you don't, a viewer would not think about that at all. You think about what you see.
Right.
But everything you're seeing is from that one person or the 20 people that are.
Yeah. And I thought it was really, that was, and then, even the shots when people are walking by it, looking like a mistake, but it's not, I love that.
Yeah, there was what was it, Blood Money? Did you see it? Did you get to see it? The Blood Money where they're sitting in the chairs and Judas is in the center and he's about to get the money.
Yeah.
There's that one long camera shot that starts, it's like a 360. He goes around
in the squares.
Is that a person on the floor or was that a hanging thing?
Yeah.
Because it looked like he went over the audience and all the way around. I'm getting really technical with it.
Yeah.
I was like, how did they do that?
I think it's one of those things, I don't know what it's called. The aerial thing.
Flies.
Fly.
A drone, not drone.
A drone.
It was perfect. Anyway, that was a great show. How much work do you put into figuring out the choreography in terms of cameras? Is it like the camera and the choreography for you, like when you're working on Rosie?
Yeah, because that thing is like, we had the one to 42nd Street. I was like, I see it I want to see feet first. So I'm telling the cameraman, I was like, I want to see feet first, and then when you get up to the legs, then open it up.
Yeah.
So that I'm not seeing, just like I want to go from feet to mid to a wide shot.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
just the way I see it.
Sweet.
And there was this joke, and we couldn't figure out because it wasn't funny. It was like, so one person said something, then the other person said something, and I was like, oh, you know what it is? You have to turn into the shot. You have to go profile, and then when you go bump and turn into the shot and say the joke instead of saying the joke, and that's what made it fun. I was just, it's one of those things. You're like, why isn't it fun? She says blah 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 something about Rosie's. This one says something about, and then this one says she's gassy. Was the joke?
Yeah.
So it's like she said it, and then she turns to like goink gassy. And it's funny. But it has to be. Yes, you just have to figure out
it's one of those
why
things.
it's funny. Why is just staying it on because we were just going just full on face, and then it was not funny. It was like, that's not funny. I don't know why. And then it was like, all right, this is one of those things like we all just looked at it, it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what makes it funny, and you just don't know really why. And that's just an accident, I think.
Yeah.
That's just
it's so interesting, like how things work on camera versus on stage. But like you have to do like things that would look very weird, when you're watching it being filmed. But from the screen, it's like, oh, wow, that really sells.
Yeah.
Like Burt Reynolds had a thing. He would always turn around when he would say his last line, but he would put his hands up higher and so it kind of like squared his body.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'd heard this story from a guy who worked with him, and he was like, let him know. He's like, do you know what you're doing on that last take? That kind of looks. And he's like, no, go watch the screen.
Right.
And it like is
so powerful.
That
'cause you bend
opens him
both-
up?
Yeah, but you have to really turn.
Oh my God, I never knew
face
that.
away and face towards the camera. It's hard to explain because we're only doing audio here, but
Yeah.
like not face the camera with your feet and then turn your body to face the camera with your feet and put your hands on your hips.
Right.
It looks so stupid in person.
Yeah, I think I would look girly doing it for some
But
reason.
on camera, it'd probably make you look extremely powerful.
Really butch.
I mean, yeah, butch.
I just I like to do it like a open fourth when I'm on the step and repeat, and I twist my body.
Open for the twist.
I have to
The techniques
of
cameras.
and that put your chin down.
Yeah.
I learned that from Diane Carroll.
Did she see you doing something and then she like?
No, I was doing this benefit with her. Oh my God, it was fantastic. And Margaret was in it too. It was this benefit for this huge agent at ICM. So he had all these clients. It's like, oh my God, it's like I cannot believe I'm in the room with Aunt Margaret. It was amazing. But there was Diane Carroll was there, and they were taking pictures of her, and she was like, I just watched that lesson because she was like, she just got her chin down, and her eyes. I was like, oh. I'm just so happy that someone's taking my picture. I'm just goofy, like, grr. She put her chin down and she lowered her gaze to the camera, and I was like, oh, that's what. So now every picture I take, I look the same.
Yeah, but that's good.
That's good.
It's consistent brand. No.
Let's see.
The Gerry Mac.
The Gerry Mac. I'm going to brand it.
Oh, I love that.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's a lesson.
You heard it here first.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You owe me 10%.
10% of anyone who, yeah. Okay, so we're getting to the end here.
Okay. I just have to go back to that rehearsal.
He's got to move on here, so we'll keep it pretty short. In life, what's most important to you?
I would say family and friends is the most important thing, because that's part of the thing that that you can't get too obsessed
about
with this business of show, because if there's nothing else, they have to have that. You have to have another outlet. You have to have another thing, and because I think that's what happens when people get too crazed. It's like that's all they live and breathe and eat. Show business is like, but what about going, having Easter dinner with your family and your friends and having, breaking bread, you call it always.
Yeah.
Let's break bread and catch up and see, we don't really have to talk about theater or show business at all.
Yeah.
There's other things in life.
There's so much more than
There's
just.
so much. And if you just, it's like, if you just get obsessed and you get, tense about it, it's like, I can't believe I didn't get this job. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. Well, believe it because it happened.
And life goes on.
Life goes on. Oobla dee.
Oobla da. Yeah. Do you have any most gifted books or books that you've read that you love or?
My favorite book is Prince of Tide.
Prince of
Tide.
Okay.
It's just I just love the book.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite book. And I love my little Catcher in the Rye, of course.
Yeah.
But that's old school, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite failures? Like something that set you up for future success? Like it was an apparent failure at the time, but it opened you up time-wise for another opportunity, or anything come to mind?
Yeah, I had when I was doing Pippin in Cherry County Playhouse. I think this was just I don't know if it opened me up, but I was doing Pippin in Cherry County Playhouse, playing the leading player, and I was living in LA, and my agent in LA called and said they wrote a part for you on Friends to be Joey's ballet teacher that Oba ended up doing. So I got that during rehearsal. It was like during tech. So I went to the director. He's like, absolutely not. There's no understudies. We can't let you out. And then the next day, my agent called and said, I booked a national commercial. So, it's one of those things. He said, well, you can just leave and quit. And I was like, no. I mean, someone writes a part for you on Friends and you get a national commercial. It's like, what are the chances it's going to happen when you're in the middle of being the lead of a musical? Like, what are the? It's just that just
Slim.
Sucked. That just sucked. And you're like, I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't leave. The company.
So you stayed.
I stayed, and it's just like one of those things that you just go, oh God, life. Just, are you gonna give me like a really? Because the Friends thing was bad enough.
Yeah.
The national commercial was like, are you kidding me right now, life? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know how people are, and just if I would have left and done both of them, I don't know what would have really happened. Like I guess I don't know who would have gone on, but there's a whole company of people. Marion Ross was the grandmother, and I just couldn't imagine leaving and just saying, like, no, good luck. I have a better job.
Yeah.
And then so that was one of those huge things that happened failure-wise. I'm like, I felt it was a failure or just life thing.
Are you glad you stayed?
I'm glad I stayed for integrity reasons.
Integrity. I mean, that shit's important.
I'm going to say integrity.
Layman's term.
I'm going to say integrity is huge. And that's,
Okay.
Yeah, it's huge in
What
this business.
do you have a most worthwhile investment, skill set, money, time that you invested in? Like, it could be.
I did Chicago for a million years, and then I bought an apartment.
Oh, there you go.
So that was huge, and my parents helped me. I was doing Anything Goes at Lincoln Center with Patty LaPone.
Yeah.
And that I bought an apartment then too, because I did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I sold it and moved to LA, and then I had to come back. And when I came back, I was like, oh, I don't have a place to live. So I got this, and 49th Street was fantastic. It was fantastic.
And 49th Street is fantastic.
Yeah.
The location is just
the
like,
location.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. So do you have any? So, like, metaphorically speaking, is there a billboard quote that you would put up for millions to see? It can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a life motto.
Grace.
Why?
Just because it's missing. And I think it's the most missed attribute that people should try to acquire.
Yeah.
I learned it from my mentor, Tony Stevens, I was talking about before. That's what I want to go down with. I want to go with grace. He had grace.
Is that what you want to be remembered for?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
That's solid. Gerry Mac, thank you, sir.
Peace, brother. Peace.
Where can we find you real quick? Instagram, Facebook. Do you do? You have the website?
Yeah, I have my website, GerryMcIntyre.net. Facebook, Instagram. I don't even know what my Instagram thing is, like Mr. Mayor or something.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Mr. Mayor Jer.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I think
I love that.
Yeah.
And this Move Wellers class, where can we find out about this?
That's going to be on Facebook all the time.
Great. Okay.
So just find me on Facebook and then come take the Move Weller class because it's fun. And then you get to learn some choreography that will be in the audition.
Yeah.
I'm doing one on Monday.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll put this all in the show notes. Gerry,
Okay.
thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, and subscribe. You can also listen to this podcast on Google Play and Stitcher. You can find all of these links on the show's Instagram page at _entertainmentx_. Have a great day.